Okay, so this next video lecture is still the continuation of our module number 2, classification of taxpayers for individual taxpayers. So we will discuss the next topic. So this is about the sources of income. Okay, so we have here, if you are a resident citizen, so you are taxable on all of your income. Meaning, may this income come from within the Philippines or outside of the Philippines or abroad. Meaning, if you are classified as a resident citizen, all of your income, whichever it may come from, are taxable. Okay? So, that is our rule if you are a resident citizen. Okay? So, your income worldwide are subject to Philippine income tax. For other categories, so the individual is taxable only on their income that they derived here in the Philippines. Okay? So again, if you are a resident citizen, your income from the Philippines and from abroad are subject to tax. But if you are classified as non-resident citizen, resident alien, and non-resident alien, whether engaged in trade or business and or not engaged in trade or business, your income is only subject to income tax. So those income that you derive or earned here in the Philippines. Okay? So, for employment income, the source of income is the place where the services are rendered. Okay? Regardless of the place or manner of payment. So, the place where the contract was negotiated or the payer's place of residence. For example, if you are residing abroad, like in the case of a non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, his residence is, or his permanent residence, or he is living permanently abroad or in other country. But since he is engaging trade or business here in the Philippines and is gaining income here in the Philippines, so his income gained here in the Philippines is subject to Philippine income tax. Okay, so that's how it is for the classification. So a non-resident alien is deemed engaged in trade or business if in any calendar year they stay here in the Philippines for an aggregate period of more than 180 days. So we have discussed this in the classification of our income taxpayers. If you are a non-resident alien but you stayed here in the Philippines, so you will be you have stayed here in the Philippines for more than 180 days, so you will be considered as engaged in trade or business. So if you are a non-resident alien and your stay here in the Philippines is less or 180 days or less than 180 days, then you will be considered as not engaged in trade or business. But in case that you have stayed here for less than 180 days, but you were able to earn income while you stay here in the Philippines, so that income is still subject to tax. For resident citizens, non-resident citizens, resident aliens, and non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business, their income tax is calculated on the basis of net taxable income. When we say net taxable income, this is the gross income minus the deductions allowed. Okay, so that is net taxable income. And this will be based on our tax table, in which the rates are from 0 to 35%. So later on in this module, we will show you an example. Okay, So that's how it is. For resident citizen, non-resident citizen, and resident alien engaged in trade or business, they are subject to our graduated rates. While if you are a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business, your tax is or your income is subject to tax at 25% of their gross income. Meaning, if you are not if you are a non-resident alien and not engaged in trade or business, your income tax is based on gross income. When we say gross income, meaning you are not allowed to have a deduction. So 25% of your gross income will be your tax due. Okay, so that is for our sources of income. So that's why it's very important that you know how to classify the taxpayer as either resident citizen, non-resident citizen, resident alien, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, and non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business. So we will recap. If you are a resident citizen, your income from whichever source, may it be here in the Philippines or abroad or worldwide, all of that are taxable. But if you are a non-resident citizen, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business, and resident alien, your income derived here in the Philippines, that is the only income that is subject to tax. For the tax rate and tax due, okay, when we say tax rate, this is the percentage of your income, okay, payable as tax. If you are a resident citizen, non-resident citizen, and resident alien engaged, and non-resident aliens, engaged in trade or business, so you will be subjected to our graduated rate. So we will show you the table later on, okay? So this is based on your net taxable income. When we say net taxable income, that is gross income minus deduction. That is net taxable income. While if you are a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business, your tax is based on the gross income, meaning there is no deductions allowed. Whatever income you derive, that is subject to 25% income tax. Okay, so those are our rule for the sources of income for the different classifications of income taxpayers.